plays out, but it doesn't look good. And I don't know what proof they have. I would like to think that the Big Ten would not come out as an institution, make this type of ruling without any like circumstances to support it, because it just makes them look like they're targeting him. It makes it look like they're targeting him.
Yep.
And I would like to think that that's not someone there with some law degree is saying, hey, we probably want to think about this differently.
But Dandridge, so does that goes against what you said prior though? So you don't think that if he's the head of the program and something has been happening for 3 years, that even if he didn't have any knowledge of it directly, that he should not have had knowledge of it and that he then cannot be punished? Because that's not the conversation we had about the Northwestern situation.
No, and I'm not suggesting that it's not. What I'm saying is I hope that there's more to it than just, hey, we did this investigation, this is what it is. Because I guess what I am wondering, and I don't quite know how jurisdiction plays here. I don't know, when does the Big Ten have jurisdiction to issue a punishment versus like when Michigan suspended him on their own at the beginning of the season, right? I don't know how these things play out, and I don't know the burdens of proof associated with either of them. That's the part that I think I don't understand. Because when I saw Michigan suspends him on their own, I was like, well, on its own, actually. I was like, well, that's interesting. You get to like negotiate your own punishment. But now here's the Big Ten saying, and I find each of these things equally as, disruptive to programs. So who gets to decide when one person executes a suspension versus the other? And then what are the associated burdens with that? I just don't understand it. I don't know enough. And let me be clear. I thought all teams stole signs. Like I thought this was just par for the course. Like it's just a thing that happens, which is why all of them look like Al off of, what's the show with, Home Improvement, how he never had his face over the fence.
Oh,
with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
So they just all look like that with the play cards, because I just assume that you just steal signs. But now I get that they went to an extra level, like they had this dude perpetrating a fraud, like he's a part of the team. But I don't know. It'll just be interesting to see how it plays out.
So let me help you real quick though. So when a university imposes a sanction on their coach like that, for instance, they suspend him, they're trying to get ahead of the NCAA. There's an NCAA investigation.
Yep.
So the NCAA, of course, has jurisdiction over the Big Ten, but what was happening in this particular instance with Michigan at the beginning of the season, that was an NCAA investigation. So what Michigan decided to do was they would suspend him on their own in hopes that when the NCAA finally does levy whatever, or levies their suspension or penalty, that he will have already served it. They can say, hey, we already suspended him, so therefore you guys gave him 3 games, but we already gave him 3 games. Or the NCAA will come back and say, those 3 games that you gave him at the beginning of the season, we found violations as well, and that will suffice. Because they actually still haven't ruled on that, by the way. So they still haven't said, hey, you're in the clear, or we want to give you 5 games. I'm just using that as an example.
No, so you're saying the NCAA, it is the Big Ten, or is separate from the Big Ten?
That's separate.
It's separate. The NCAA is above the Big Ten. All the conferences report to the NCAA.
So that further confuses me, because then who decides, right? If the NCAA investigates, the Big Ten investigates, or the universe, like I'm just curious, could the NCAA now come and say, well, we're going to investigate sign stealing too, even though the Big Ten is already investigating it?
No, they are investigating it as well.
Too. Yep.
They doing it. Are they? Okay.
Yeah, they are. So what I'm saying is the reason that the Big Ten jumped in is because the Big Ten's coaches and presidents, because they were involved as well, were all up in arms about this. That's really how the Big Ten got involved, to say, hey, wait a minute. So you guys just going to let him coach the whole remainder of the season and not do nothing, and it's been happening for the last 3 years? That's why they got involved. He still could get a penalty or some sanctions levied against him from the NCAA for what happened at the beginning of the season as well as what just transpired. Now, here's the other thing. The NCAA, as of late, has said that for offenses or violations such as this, they are trying to stop punishing the players. And by that, that means, before they would say you can't go to a bowl game for the next 2 years, or you can't, do this for the next day. That punishes the players for something that a staff member or a coach did. So now that's why you see they didn't say, hey, Michigan, you can't, because they definitely wouldn't do that anyway, because they would be losing money. But they won't say, hey, Michigan, you can't go to a bowl game, right? They're going to say your coach is suspended for 2 games, or your coach has to pay a fine, or the university has to pay a fine, so that way the kids aren't adversely affected.
That's interesting. I'm glad they do that though, because that'd be messed up if you go to, like you said, you can't go to a bowl game your senior year, all because of your coach did. That's kind of all right. I feel
Because
that.
Connor Stallions decided to dress up in Central Michigan gear, stand on. And Dandridge. The other part to what you were saying is yes, like I said, people do still like. I mean, you look to the sideline to try to figure out what somebody's calling, but there are also dummy calls, right? That's why you see, you'll look and you'll see 2 quarterbacks signaling in signs. Sometimes you'll see 2 guys with a red shirt on, and they both are doing like they're doing sign language. Well, one of those is the actual play, and one of them is not. But if you're standing on the sideline in that gear, you know exactly which one is off and which one is correct. So then you can go back and say,
The one on
don't
the
pay
right.
attention to exactly.
The one on the
quarterback
left.
on the left is the dummy sign. The one on the right, there we go. And if you tape it, right? If you film it, you can go back and break it down and say, that means this, that means that. So it gives you an unfair advantage as opposed to standing on the sideline and just like glancing and saying, he just threw up he just flipped me off. That looks like it's a slant.
Hey,
Well,
they ain't get no proof.
speaking of being flipped off, what's going on with y'all girl Keke?
Oh man.
Aquila and the B?
Hey, you saw that meme I sent you?
Yeah.
And the B stand for beating niggas.
Yeah, Aquila and the B.
Oh God.
Keela got a whole thing. She got a what? Her dude's name? What's the name? Darius Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like she's went her entire career without any controversy, and then she just got slapped. She has a Wikipedia full of controversy now. Like, what is going on?
Man.
You blame her mama too now. But anyway, go ahead, Free. Go ahead.
Man, all I can say is she should have been fucked with them Jackson people. Joe Jackson. Them Jackson boys whip ass, okay? The Browns and the Jacksons. They whip ass.
So essentially it sounds like she has this relationship, obviously, with this gentleman. They have a baby. He doesn't come onto my radar until the Usher concert. Aquila goes to Keke Palmer, goes to the Usher concert. She doesn't even have on, I mean, what she had on, I would wear. It wasn't racy to me.
You would?
And I for sure would wear that.
You a mom.
Right. And he, makes these, these messages like, you're a mom. Essentially, you shouldn't be wearing that. And in that moment, and I think we talked about it on this show, I was wondering about the dynamics of the relationship, particularly when he's making those type of public statements about what she's wearing and what she should be doing. It felt very domineering to me. So fast forward, they now, their baby is 6-7 months old. She files for a personal protection order in sole custody of her son. And as a part of that order, she attaches still pictures from her apartment or home, wherever it is, which from what it appears like is him with his hands around her neck or like choking her in some way. And these are still photographs, so there is not any live footage from it. And this is what she presents as evidence to the judge to say I should be granted the PPO, and also he should not have any contact with his son. And I know people talk about I'm gonna get a PPO all the time, but it's actually not easy to get a PPO on someone. Like they're denied very, very frequently. I would guess that they're more often denied than they're granted. And it's because you do lose a lot of your liberties once someone is able to get a PPO against you. There's certain things that you're just not able to do at that point. So in order for this, and I'm not suggesting that she doesn't have star power or whatever, but in order for this judge to have granted her this PPO, they must have found some reasonable likelihood that she was in harm's way. And then her mother shows up.
Right.
And I don't know what happened after that. I don't know what happened after that.
Well, clearly, her mother has been involved even before, because this recent audio that just came out, that had to be right after the concert or shortly after all that transpired, where you hear her. Oh boy, she said some things on there. So I'd say.
Well, what did she say on the audio?
I'm just saying. Look, it's rare that I get that I'm at a loss for words on here. But she was calling him.
Well, who was she saying it to? I guess
she was saying it to Darius. So Darius was obviously or evidently at Keke's house looking for his son or trying to get his son. She was on the phone, and she was like, "You limp dick motherfucker." Your brother sucks dick too. Your mama's crazy. You limp dick motherfucker. And then he was like, yeah, well, you pimped out your daughter. Oh, if for $30 million, if that's the case, she made $30 million. Yeah, you're right. I pimped her. I'll pimp her again. I said, sheesh. Ooh.
But G, you ain't say the most juicy shit.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And then to make matters even worse, unsuspecting innocent bystander who's just on the stage trying to let it burn. Just trying to let people know you got it bad. Just trying to tell people you don't have to call. It's okay. Because I'll be all right tonight. Gets drug into this by her mother, who says, and I don't even know why you're concerned, because Usher gay. Usher gay. He sleep with men. He gay. He bisexual. That's why you all upset he gay. I mean...
Okay.
So wait, so he releases these recordings?
Yes. But I guess if you Usher, all you can say is situations will arise.
Oh man. Oh my God. I can't even.
Boy.
Okay.
It was just bad. It's bad. Like, cause here's the other part. So, then she came out today and she apologized by saying, I ain't really mean that. I was just trying to say something to keep him from hitting my daughter.
You're right.
Well, ma'am. Well, ma'am, if you were trying to keep the individual from hitting your daughter and you're not there, I would think let's not start off by calling him a lip dick motherfucker. Your brother sucked dick. Your mama's crazy. Your grandmama told me you was off your rocker. Yeah, you think you fucking with me? Oh, I'll fuck with you. You don't want to. You sorry motherfucker. That's why your career ain't shit. Now, I can understand how you might think that would stop him from hitting your daughter, as opposed to, you just think you throw in, and Usher's gay, and that'll do it. I'm not gonna smack the shit out of her now because you told me Usher's gay. So I guess now I will stand the fuck down. Thanks for that Usher's gay information.
Man.
So Usher just minding his own business, doing the whole his residency.
Innocent bystander, just on the stage roller skating and shit.
And shots get fired.
Oh man, he got more than shots. He got hit in the back. Like Ricky and
Ricky!
Boys in the Hood. He got hit in the back.
Oh man.
But I do think this brings, and I don't know what's true or not true, that all has to come out in the wash, but I do think this brings up in this ever like domestic violence happens across all races, all ages, all socioeconomic